internal elastic.
External elastic lamina.
External
And what's
elastic.
right here?
Adventitia.
Adventitia. Good. So nostulosa is adventitia. Okay.
The artery.
Artery.
We can't hear you.
Why can't she turn the microphone on?
The batteries are going.
We need it.
It's okay. You can put.
We need to hear you.
Maybe it's better
I
from
need to
there.
hear you.
Okay.
It needs to hear you.
Hold. Is this okay now?
Yes.
Oh, it looks like it's better here. It's good? Okay, good.
It's good.
Okay, so this is the aorta, right?
Right.
Same thing. What is this major vein, blood vessel? Inferior vena cava, right? So if I put the arrow, that's okay. Let's see. Okay, here. What are these cells? Ideal cells. Purkinje fibers, right? Ideal structures here. Collagen fibers. Blue is collagen. The Purkinje fibers, are they located in what parts of the heart? Endocardium would be actually subendocardium, but endocardium is fine too, okay? So what is this? What are these things here?
Endo.
What is that?
Myocardium.
Muscle. These are muscles.
Ooh.
Again, these are Purkinje fibers. They look like a dead cell. They're like sick, unhealthy cells. And these are all Purkinje fibers. And what is this layer? These are endothelium, right?
Y'all don't know about
Now, make sure you can distinguish between endocardium and epicardium, right? Epicardium has what? Fat. These are fat, adipose tissue. These are not this, right?
Right.
These are the fat tissue. Okay, so this is epicardium and this is myocardium. Myocardium is muscle. This is outside of the heart. This is when we talk about, we have mesothelium here. This is mesothelium. Okay, so this is the, I know this is a heart because you have this intercalated disc. Now, for lymphoid system, let me tell you, just be able to ID the structure. For example, if I put the arrow here, what is that? What is this structure?
Primary.
What is this lymphoid? Primary. Why is primary?
It's
Okay, I
one.
can't see. What? Yeah, it's
Solitary by itself.
The voice goes, I better go there. Okay. It's primary because you see all the same intensity of color. These are all B cells. Oh, thank you so much. See, my microphone is not working either there, so.
Hey, this I was gonna post this on the thing, and you can see yourself. Is this gonna be okay? You can see yourself. I was gonna. No, I'm just making sure. Not a bunch of you, but.
We can't hear you.
I'm cutting out that part.
Because she's the one that wrote it.
Oh, she's trying to.
So anyway,
Why did she turn the lights off?
I guess he like also.
No, not okay. That's if we cannot hear you.
Hear you.
No.
Okay, do you hear now?
Yes, please start over from
Okay.
these are all B cells.
So you see it here. Okay, for sure I put this a slide on the exam, so I want you to know what is that? Highest patches. Highest patches is made of primary or secondary lymphoid nodules? Secondary lymphoid. Where do you find it? In what area of the ileum?
Ilium.
You find it in the ileum, right? Submucosa.
Submucosa.
Everybody agrees?
Yes.
Good.
How do you know that?
And you study. These are the secondary. And why is secondary? Because you don't say the same intensity of color throughout. Okay, now, what is this one?
Lymph node. Nodule.
Okay, what is this structure called?
Thymus.
Tell me what is this? I can't come here.
Lymph
You
nodule.
don't know?
Medulla?
None of you knows it? The whole thing, what is called?
Lymph.
Lymphoid.
Lymphoid.
That's lymph node, right?
Oh, lymph
Okay,
node.
now let me do the lymphoid, lymphatic, because these structures are hard to see and the PowerPoints are not very clear, so I'll be very lenient towards showing the very, not very hard structure. So if I show you, for example, this is lymph node, so that's the first thing that you should know. If I put the arrow here, what do you call this area here? What is it? The arrow is the ID.
Capsule.
Capsule, subcapsular, right? Subcapsular. Okay? So if I put the arrow here, what do you call that?
Tuberculate.
It's under trabeculate, right? Subtrabecular space. And if I put the arrow here, what is that?
Nodule.
Look at him go.
No.
What?
What's the secret?
It's
You don't know? These are nodules. Yeah. I don't know primary second because I cannot distinguish, so I would not ask you. If I don't see the if I don't see the intensity of color, I will not ask the primary and secondary. So just know this is lymphoid nodules, which are they are located in the cortex region. Okay. So if I put the area which is right here, and as you see, like spaces there, what was those?
Medulla.
This
Medulla.
is the medullary region. What is this? What is the white area? And what are the hard area? What are the dark, like basophilic? What if you put the arrow here? What are this? These are what? Chords, right? These are the chords. And then in the middle you have sinusoids. So these are the sinusoids. These are the sinusoids. So spaces are sinusoid. The places which are dark, these are basophilic. These are the chords. And this is medullary region. Remember, lymph node was made of cortex, paracortex, and then you go to the medullary region. So here, these are lymphoid nodules. Now I can see here they are secondary, right? Because I can see the, the different types of this thing. See, here is balance. So sinusoid here, and what are those things? Chords, right? This is just a high mag. Okay, so we're looking at what is structure. This is terrible staining, and what is this structure? For a spleen, I would ask you what is it? So you should know this is a spleen, right? Then a spleen is made of two regions: white pulp and red pulp. Okay, the white pulp is where you see the lymphocyte, okay? And the red pulp is when you see the red blood cells, the macrophage, and that. So make sure you are able to ID white and red, white and red. So, for example, if I put the arrow right here, what is this area is called? House. Good job. And right in the palm you have artery, which is central artery, and they call it central because it is central to the all of those T cells. So, what is this region is? What is that? Is a red pulp. Red pulp. So this is, I'm not going to, what is, for those of you who will study more, what is this?
Central canal.
What is that?
Central artery.
This is trabeculae, right? That's the trabeculae. And this is trabeculae artery or vein. Most probably it looks like a vein to me.
How do you tell?
What is this? Pals, right?
More thick.
This is central artery pals. These are the cords, and you see sinuses here. Okay, what is this one? What is this gland? Yes.
Thymus.
How do you tell the difference between the trabeculae and the central artery?
What?
How do you tell the difference between the trabeculae and the central artery?
Okay, trabeculae, when you look at here, okay, here, I don't see much of the, I don't see much of the T cells around it. And this is the artery or vein inside it. I go with the vein. Look at here. Do you see the difference? You see how darkly it's stained here? So this is for sure it pals. Okay, and this is the central artery. But if you look at here, you don't see much of the dark color nucleus cell, right? But I promise you, I wouldn't make it that hard. Okay? It would be clear to you. So what is this organ or gland? Tell me. What? Thymus?
Thymus.
It looks like what? Cauliflower.
No.
Brain? No, I would say, yeah, you can say brain. Okay, cauliflower. Where is the cortex? If I put the arrow here, what is that? Cortex or medulla? What? Medulla. And that's the cortex, right? Cortex is basically what kind of cells you see in the thymus?
T
Is
cells.
it B cells or T cells?
T cells.
T cells, right? Okay, so you see medulla is lightly colored. Okay, and then if you go to the, so this is the cortex, and this is the medulla. What is specific about the thymus that you would say, and you see this is for sure is thymus gland or organ?
Hassel corpuscle.
Hassel
I
corpuscle.
said first.
So do not miss that on the exam. I will tell you, I will give you hassle corpuscle. Okay, so these are hassle corpuscles. And you always find it in the cortex or medulla. You always find it where?
It's like a perfect
Medulla.
spot. It smells like, is this onions?
So here we go. So cortex and medulla. Remember, it just, thymus is different. You have lobes is different than all other organs. If you look at, you have one lobe here, you have one lobe here, one lobe here. But each lobe has its own cortex and medulla. Cortex, medulla. Cortex, medulla. Okay? Okay? Pass. Okay. Put my pass.
Shit, I'm sure.
We didn't name for it, we did digestive system. Okay.
But that was the word.
Okay, so this is, I hope you know. If you do not know anatomy, you cannot understand histology. Okay? That's why you have to know which organs are located where to understand their function. Okay? What is this organ? Can you ID the organ? If I give it like that? The esophagus, right? Excellent. So remember, this is the lumen. Okay, from lumen you're going outside, and make sure you're able to ID that in all of this. So if I put my arrow here, what is that? From here to here, what layer of the esophagus I'm looking at? Mucosa. This is a mucosa. And mucosa is made of 3 parts, right? What are the 3 parts? You should know it. You had the exam over this. Epithelium, right? So you have epithelium. So what esophagus is different than all other organs of digestive system because it is made of stratified squamous non-keratinized. Okay, so if I put so this is epithelium layer or mucosa. What is this layer? It's called lamina propria. Okay, what is this layer? Muscularis mucosae. So from here to here you have mucosa. Okay, what are those things? I can hear. I can hear. Good job. There are 2 places that you see glands in the submucosa region. What are those places?
Here. Esophagus.
And
Somewhere around
okay, help her.
Hold on, what was the question?
Here. Is it June? It's
I need to talk to you guys here. It's funny, as soon as it gets here, okay, it's working now. It's okay? Okay, there are 2 places that you see glands, glands. In the submucosa region. You see it in the esophagus and the duodenum. Okay, esophageal gland and submucosal gland. Okay? Okay. Okay, so what is this? If I put the arrow here, which is terrible picture, I promise will be better. So what is this layer called?
Muscular.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
I haven't seen this one.
Okay, this is muscularis externa, right? This is circular layer, that's longitudinal layer. What kind of structure that you see here, which is very, very important for us? Nervous structure that you have to know. I would ask you actually because this is important, even though we've gone through this the first part, but what nervous system tissue you see here between the muscle layer that controls the glands and all that muscle contraction? Do you see autonomic nervous system there? Do you see parasympathetic ganglions there? You do, right? Between the muscle layer, myenteric plexus. This you don't see it here because the picture is bad, but you're going to see it here in between, right? Remember you saw it last time? So this is, what is this thing? What? Lymphoid nodule. Excellent. What is here? Muscularis mucosa. Okay? This is what I done. This is the parasympathetic ganglion which belongs to the internal nervous system. Make sure you know the stomach, and again, the region of the stomach. Let's do it together. Okay? Let's embarrass the people who don't know. 1, 2, 3. What is this region called? I can't hear. Cardia. What is this region called? Fundus. You know that. What is this region called? Body. What is this region called? Pylorus. Good job. The structure of fundus and body is the same. right? Pylorus is different.
Where?
Okay, so here we go, they're showing these are the gastric pits. What are the gastric pits? P-I-T-S. These are just imagination, when the epithelial layer go inside, that's called gastric pits. These are the gastric pits. These are the pits. And you see glands just basically, these are the cells. These are the cells that they become specialized in secreting hormones. These are the ones, we talk about like individual cells that they can function as an endocrine gland. Okay, so make sure you know this. And also, stomach is specific because muscularis externa is made of how many layers?
15.
How many?
3.
3 layers. So what are the layers? You have longitudinal, circular, and oblique. Oblique is inner layer. Longitudinal from outside to circular and oblique. And you have some mucosa here. Okay. Now, how do you know? Am I looking at the fundus body or I'm looking at the last part? What? It's going to make it. It's going to make us all leave.
I already had one you didn't even know.
She's eating egg in the lab. You're not allowed to eat anything here.
Here in the background.
Okay, sorry. Hard-boiled eggs.
Eat eggs?
How do you know the difference?
The size of the pits versus the glands.
Exactly, those are 1 to 4, right? And when you look at the pylorus region, they're 1 to 1. Because you see these gastric pits here, these are all gastric pits. We just look at the size of it. They're small here. So they're small, they're 1 to 4, and you have majority of the glands here. So because you produce a lot of hormones, enzyme at the beginning of the stomach, then later on. Does that make sense? So the size is 1 to 4. So 4 means the gastric glands. You have more gastric glands on that side. And then as you go down, when you go to the pylorus region, okay? Oh, I don't have a picture. When you go to the pylorus region, you change, like this is only 1 to, you see these are the gastric pits and the majority of it, these are the glands here. What kind of cells that you see, this is the same thing, just magnified. What kind of cells that you see that I promise I would ask you? Yeah, she knows parietal, thanks God, after I show it 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so what are parietal cells? Are these ones? Very, very clear. Easy point. Remember, this is 2 points. I show you this and I say, what is this cell? You will say parietal cells. What does it secrete? And intrinsic factors. Okay? And there would be the one that are purplish, these are chief cells. What do they produce? Pepsinogen. This is beautiful. Look how cute they are. And then again, this one here, you show the difference. These are longer ones here. Okay, what is that? Okay, if I put the arrow right here, please ID the structure right there. Let's see who can answer. At least one person should know.
Jared does. It's Clicus circularis, right?
Yes. Way to go, Dr. Titan. Did you get that? The fold is a fold. Is a plica circularis or plica or a circular fold. Why do I have this fold, which is showing me I'm looking at the small intestine, because the small intestine needs to do absorption. Absorption, a lot of stuff happens here, so I need to have a big surface area. So not only I have a big folds there, also I have what? Velus, villi. Also, I have brush for the macrovilli. Okay? So those structures that is hard to see here, and these are all veluses, villi. And on the top of this villi, I have the macro. What are those things here? Oh, come on. Submucosal gland. So I'm looking at what part of the small intestine? Duodenum. The only place that you see mucosal gland, submucosal gland, either is in esophagus or duodenum. What do they secrete? Alkaline mucus. Okay. Okay, so you don't know it. I give up. So what is this? What is this layer? Is this lamina propria? Is this or not? What is this layer? If you don't know that, what is this layer? This is showing bad. Let me show you better picture, but those are terrible. So if I put the arrow here, what is that? What is this layer? Oh God, I'm getting tired. What are those? Submucosa. Where are they located? Are they in the lamina propria or submucosa? Submucosa. Submucosa. Good. Submucosa. Lamina propria would be some place right in between. Any place that you see like here, around here, that would be lamina propria. And these are the muscles. Okay, so okay, now for those of you who were not able to answer me last time, so Shantington, please keep quiet. I would ask you, what if I put the arrow, what is this? Plica circularis. Do you see the arrow? I don't see it. Okay, so this is plica circularis, right? So these are the villi. This is the muscle here. Okay. Okay, what is this beautiful cell? What are those cells? Tell me. Oh, you don't know that?
And cells.
What is this cell that they have immunology and
Tannin cells.
what?
Tannin.
Good job, excellent. There you go. Awesome. How is so? Are they non-specific immune or specific immune? Non-specific, right? They find them in the duodenum, but if they find throughout the digestive system. So when you look at, make sure you are able to recognize duodenum. Okay, jejunum or duodenum. The way the villi are, these are the villi, they're different than the way the duodenum. They are like leaf-like projections. Okay. So you know, if you have to be able to tell me, is this duodenum, this is jejunum, or this is ileum? Duodenum has submucosal gland. Ileum has what? Pyrus patches. So if you say, and you know, again, I can look at, I can look at jejunum and I say jejunum because I have looked at the villi, but if you guys have a hard time, if you do not see submucosal gland or you do not see Pyrus patches, that's jejunum. But if those of you who had histology before, you can see the villi look different, very much different than the duodenum. Okay, they call it, look like leaf-like projections. Okay. What is that? What is this? What is that? Hey, speed. He's laying down. What is that?
Starts with the C.
It started with C? Yeah, that's colon. So have a photographic memory of this. Bing! Put it in your brain. Seriously, remember, okay?
Yes, it's the colon.
That's the colon. Why does it?
What is that?
Mucus.
You don't know this?
Mucus glands.
Yeah, no, yeah, you know, I'm not talking about just to hold the structure. What coming from what part of digestive system? Colon. Colon. Why is colon? Because you see a lot of cells that the mucus secreting cells. They become all goblet cells. You see, they're clear. I need to finish by 12:30. I'm sorry, go fast. Okay. If I say gland like this here, and I see some of the cells are clear, you see. No, let me show you this one. Let me show you. Let me go straight to that. What is the name of this gland? What is this gland? I would ask you for the exam. What is that? What is Werner's gland? Yeah. This is a salivary gland. What kind of cell, which was, I think this was one of the questions that maybe I took away for the lecture exam. I asked you salivary gland, they have two types of the cell, two types of secretion they have. They have serous secretion and mucus secretion. Remember? Serous secretion and mucus secretion. When you look at submandibular gland, submandibular, the gland which is right here, it has both. It has mucus and serous secretion. So, the one that you see as clear, these are what? Mucus. The parts that you see as dark, they are serous secretion. Serous secretion. If I put the arrows here, I see what is the name of this structure? What do you tell me? They call them demilunes. Demilunes. Oh, you don't see that. Yeah, I'm sorry. The arrow is right. Oops. It's right here. These are demilunes. These are them. I promise I would ask those of you who are not in the lab, they wouldn't know this. Okay? These are, you see, you know what I mean? They look like half a moon. They're looking on the top of the mucus. So there's mixture here. So blue dots are serous, C-E-S-E-R-O-U-S, and these are the mucus as you expect to see, they're clear. Okay? So these are called demilunes. D-E-M-I, lunes, like half moon, lune, L-U-N-E. Okay, now what is this gland? Hurry up. It's a pancreas, right? What is this? Hey, you need to know this. This is important. You have to know. Islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans. And what is this one? These are acini or acinar cells. Okay? What do they secrete? What does pancreas secrete? Digestive enzymes. Okay? And insulin. Glucagon, that's the two that I want you to remember that are important, okay? Insulin. How do I know I'm looking islets of Langerhans and I'm not looking at the, acini cells? How? Because these are very light, right? Islets of Langerhans are light. What is that? That's a liver, right? This is. If I put the arrow right in here, what is that? Central vein. What are the three structures that you see at the corner? Make sure you know about the liver. Okay? So on the corner you see portal triads. Portal triads are made of what? Yeah. And I would ask you, what is hepatic portal vein? What kind of blood it has? Is a blood which is poor in oxygen and rich in nutrients. Hepatic artery has blood which is rich in oxygen and a branch of bile duct. And bile duct is produced in the liver. Okay? Each one are specific. If you look at the bile duct, it has a different histology. They are cuboidal cells, they are very, you don't see it here because it's not very clear. But these three structures, be able to distinguish between a bone duct, artery, and vein. Okay, and these are all hepatocytes. Between the hepatocytes, if you see clear region, these are just basically the clear region is just these are sinusoids. These are sinusoids, and that's central vein. What is that? This is just magnification of central vein. So here is central vein. So these are all sinusoids. See, these are the sinusoids. These are hepatocytes. Okay, what is this lucky looking organ is? What is that?
Gallbladder.
Gallbladder. What is specific about gallbladder? It does not have what? Submucosal layer. And then when they join, they make a structure that I have a hard time to say the name, so I pass that. So, if I put the arrow here, what is that? What did you say? True vocal cord. If I put here, that would be false. Okay? First of all, where is it coming from? Where is this tissue coming from? It's called from larynx. No, vocal cord is not in the lung. What is this one? That's cartilage. Make sure you know this order, okay? This is all from your problem. There's not a question that's going to come from outside. Okay, so what is this part? Trachea. Okay, what is that? Primary bronchus, right? Primary bronchus, left. What are these things here? Secondary bronchus. Why do I have three on this side? On the right side, I have two secondary bronchus on the left. Because of the lobes, right? Okay, now on the exam, first of all, you see PCC. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about trachea anymore. You guys know it very well. If I put the arrow, let's see. For sure, I would ask you the difference between bronchus and bronchium. If I have the arrow here, what do you tell me? Is it bronchus or bronchium? Bronchus. Why? Because you see hyoid cartilage. If I put the arrow here, that would be bronchiole, right? No hyoid cartilage. This is what? That's a blood vessel, right? That's most probably, it looks like it has a good muscle layer, but most probably, I would go with the vein than an artery. That's the air passageway. Okay, make sure you know the layer of the muscle. Make sure that you know each one. Like if I put the arrow here, what is that? A stratum. What is this? The granulosum. Stratum granulosum. Okay. Okay. Is this the thin skin or the thick skin? What do you think? Thin skin. Good job. Somebody knows. Okay. What is this layer? Stratum basal. Basal. What are these things here? You don't know? What are that? What? Sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland. Okay? How about this thing here? You're going to make mistake on the exam and I'm going to ask you. What is this? What are those structures of? This is arrector pili muscle. Arrector pili is a smooth muscle and you don't expect to see it, but I would ask you. So you better go study that. You don't know much. You don't know much, unfortunately. What are these glands? Sweat glands. Which one is secretory portion? Which one is the dark portion? Secretory is dark cells. These are the dark. Dark or clear cells. What is this? ID. Come on, fast. Come on, Tanner. Why are you yawning? Oh, Michael, you're here. Good. What is that? Meissner. You want me to give you some popcorn and chips and Coke? You're not answering me. Okay, Meissner, what kind of sensation they carry? Light or deep? Light. Light. What is this layer? Estrado? Corneal. What are those things? What? Pasina. Lip touch, right? Okay. I don't know where this comes from. Okay. The gland, pituitary gland, I promise you I would ask you, okay, make sure that you realize within the, like this, obviously this is very bad PowerPoint, I cannot, but make sure that if I put the arrow here, is it posterior or anterior? What is that? That's a posterior. This is anterior. Posterior looks like nerves. So if you look at this pituitary, okay, let me show you this. If we looking at the pituitary gland, the anterior portion is called anterior lobe of pituitary. This is called adenohypophysis, which is majority of hormones are produced here. The posterior lobe, which is connected to the hypothalamus, is all axons. Okay? These are the we remember we talked about caring, but there are two hormones which are produced by hypothalamus that will be stored and safe here, and they will be released when the body needs it. And then one is called ADH, one is called oxytocin. Make sure you know our ADH and oxytocin, they are not produced in posterior. They are produced up here. So what is this region is called? Infundibulum, right? This is pars distalis. Again, actually I have a slide on the mock practical that I'm asking you, is this the acidophils and basophils? Make sure you know what acidophils are, make sure you know what basophils are, make sure you can separate them. Acidophils produce what hormones, and basophils will produce what hormones, and under the influence on what. The difference that you see between acidophils and basophils, acidophils are always they get less color than basophils. Basophils are darkish, purplish. Now, acidophils would be grayish and reddish, okay? So there is a question on my practical. This is a thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is made up of all these follicles. If I put the arrow right here on the here, I would ask you, what is this? You would tell me this is follicular cell. Okay? These are all simple cuboidal epithelium that go around this colloid. And what do they secrete? What do they secrete? Anybody? T3, T4. Now, if I put the arrow here, on your notes, it talks about interfollicular cells. Okay? Forget about that. We call this parafollicular cells. These are parafollicular cells. And they secrete what? Calcitonin. Okay? So any cells that I ask you, and if it's not in the follicle, it would be parafollicular cell. If it's right here, you will say, okay, follicular cell. If you see it in between, you will say parafollicular. Okay? And parathyroid gland is like, you have two cells that you need to know. If I put arrow to any cells that I show you, would you say what? Chief cells or principal. Forget about occipital cells. I will not ask you a question on occipital cells because the function is unknown. Okay, adrenal gland, I would ask you for sure questions, okay? This is the best picture of adrenal gland. Make sure you start from the top. How do you know this is the top? You see a bunch of fibers here. This is the capsule. Okay? You get to zona glomerulosa. Make sure what hormones are secreted there. Then you go to zona fasciculata, which you see it hard. Oh, I know this is zona fasciculata because you see a lot of clear places. Like there's nothing looks like there. That's because of lipids production there. See, this is like clear. It's much lighter stain than these two areas. Okay? Glucocorticoid, then I can ask you what is produced here. You say glucocorticoid. Then I would ask you what is the major hormone. You would say cortisol. And this is would be what? What is this zone? Zona reticularis. Gonadocorticoids, DHEA, dehydrogenase, which is a big androgen. Okay, now, I don't have a, gosh, the middle would be, the middle of this adrenal gland, which is here, would be adrenal medulla. The way I would ask you about adrenal medulla, I make sure I put the arrow next to what? A blood vessel. Okay, so you don't get confused. What is this? Pineal gland. That's the only gland that you see these deposits there. These are called pineal sand or brain sand, or they have several names. Okay? Okay, I don't want to go over it. Okay, now the next one is, this is the last one. I will finish in 10 minutes. Okay, urinary system, make sure you know, again, if you don't know the structure of the kidney, you will be having trouble to ID the structure. So make sure you know the cortex, the medulla, okay, minor calyx, major. Where are you guys going? What meeting? Okay, go. I have a meeting to after this week. We love you too. I love you too. Okay? So make sure you know what is a nephron, and this is what? What is this structure? Collecting duct. You have several nephrons that dump into collecting duct. Okay. So here is renal cortex. Why is renal cortex? Because I see what? Renal corpuscle. Right? What is that? What is this? This is Bowman's capsule. What kind of, this is also, you could say this is parietal layer, right? Of the Bowman's capsule. This is a parietal layer, and what is this layer? Distal layer, okay? Make sure that you go and study your pedicle and podocytes. So what is the two of them called together? Renal corpuscle. What is this? Proximal convoluted tubule. Do you know what is the difference between proximal and distal? Yeah. Okay, so the proximal looks dirty looking, distal looks clear. Proximal has many brush border. Brush border is right here. These are the brush border. This one does not have brush border. This is PCT has brush border. PCT does not. Okay, so this is renal medulla. What I did is, do you remember you talked about collecting tubule? These are collecting tubule because you see the lateral border is very clear. They still simple cuboidal, but they look like columnar now. What is this one? That's a loop of Henle. Is this a thin or the thick portion? Thin portion. These are collecting tubules. They're very clear. You see how different they are than the other ones here. This is a loop of Henle. What is that? This is collecting tubule. This is a ureter, and I know it's ureter because they're folding. The way it's folding, they have a long muscular layer. This is the bladder. What is that? That's the male. This is a cut from the male penis. They have cut it. This is what? Male urethra. Looks like a dragon horse shape, horse dragon shape. And what is the tissue here? Corpus spongiosum. This is the ventral portion of the penis, and the back portion is what? Corpus cavernosum. These are erectile tissue of the male. Okay, so 1, 2. The same thing here. This is female urethra. Male and female urethras are obviously very different. Female urethra is small. Male urethra is made of 3 parts. Okay, but this is ovary. If I put the arrow here, what is that?
Oh, sorry.
What kind of follicle is this? Primordial. This is a primordial follicle. Okay, what is this one? What kind of follicle is it? Primary. Is it unilaminar or multilaminar? Who said multilaminar? You are in trouble. Don't talk too much. It's a unilaminar. It's only one layer here. Oh my God. Here is multi. What is another name for multilaminar? Growing follicle. This is the oocyte. If you put on the exam oocyte to the whole thing, I'm going to come and destroy you.
I did
No,
that.
because yesterday I had a student. This is, okay, sorry. This is the follicle. The whole thing is follicle. Follicle has oocyte. This is the nucleus of the oocyte. This is the cytoplasm. And this is what? Zona pellucida. These are the granulosa cells that secrete what? Estrogen. Okay? What is this one? Or this one? This is basically a follicle which is ready to be gone. So you can call it tertiary follicle, Graafian follicle, or some people they can even call it secondary follicle. I go with the Graafian follicle. I would say this is a mature follicle. What is that?
Corpus luteum. Corpus luteum.
This is corpus luteum. Make sure you know the corpus luteum before I start there. Make sure you can say like what are these cells called? They call lutea, granulosa lutea. So make sure you can distinguish between 2 different cells. And I teach you next week too. So by next week you'll be better because I actually give a lecture over material. Okay? This is fine. What is that? Corpus albicans. What is this? Oh yeah.
Secretory.
Morris, wake up. Okay, what is this? Don't die on me.
What?
Who's trying to sit right in front of me? I can see your eyes. Yes, this is proliferative phase. What kind of part of the body is this? Endometrium. Endometrium. I'm sorry, Morris. I didn't want to embarrass you. I saw you were sleeping though. What is that? This is like, I would say this is a hard one to say. This is also proliferative phase. This would be secretory phase. I go with secretory phase. Do you see the difference between here, and here? Do you see how the glands are becoming more convoluted? They become fat. They start secretion of glycogen. Okay. What is that? Menses phase. Menses phase. This is menses. Okay, this is the last. Oops, it's not done yet. Oh my God. Okay, what is this? It's section coming from where? It's coming from testes, right? And these are called what? What is each one of this called? What is each one is called? This is called seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous. There's one here, there's one here. What is inside all those little dots? Do you remember who watched the broadcast, to be honest? How many people watch the broadcast here? This is it? That's bad. Because you don't know it. That's why you don't know it. So when he was talking about seminiferous tubules, what did he talk about? So they look what kind of appearances? The dot looks like what? Polka dot, something like that?
I don't know, I fell asleep.
You sleep too?
Oh man, that's the perfect way to fall asleep.
This is so interesting.
No, listen to his voice.
It's not bad. Okay, so what are these things here?
You're such an asshole.
What is it? Interstitial cells of testes or Leydig cells. What do they secrete? Testosterone. Okay? Testosterone. Without testosterone, males cannot have a sperm production. Okay? So what are all those dotted structures are there? These are sperms in the process of formation. Okay? I promise you, you're going to see on the exam, and I'm going to hold you responsible to be able to distinguish between this cell and this cell. This one and this one and this. You have to tell me what are these. What are these cells? And what are these cells? What is this cell? Sertoli cells. And Sertoli cells, they look like pyramid, they look like oval shape. If you see a cell which is sitting on the basal lamella and it's, like this one is sitting, this one, and these are called a spermatogonium, which is primary germ cell. And basically what you see, all these cells that you see in the lomag, these are basically a sperm in the process of formation. It's not from these are all little cells that you see here. These are spermatogonia. Going through the process of primary spermatocytes, secondary, and ultimately, if you look at these are called spermatids. These are primary spermatocytes. I would not ask you about primary spermatocytes. I would ask you to distinguish between Sertoli cells and spermatogonia. What is this? What is that? Good job. Somebody told me. Who said it? Good job. Epididymis. Good job. That's the after the sperm are made in the testes, they go to the epididymis. And the epididymis, which is again, I would ask you, this is a bunch of sperm. This is the process of dying. Basically, it's a sperm check. Those are not good. They're going to die away. And they're going to stay there for some time. What are those structures here? I would ask you about that. These are called asterocelia. Okay, these are asterocelia. This is vas deferens, or this is the part that male when they do vasectomy, ductus deferens, or vas deferens. Basically, this is the long dot that males they cut it. What is this thing?
Prostate.
Or this? This is prostate. Okay? Prostate makes up 30% of semen. And this is a young prostate, this is an old prostate. Why? Because you see all these structures. What are those called? Prostatic concretions. And these are not signs of disease, they just see it in the males. Oh, this is it. Okay, done. Okay, I want to give you some time for those of you who have this. I have a meeting, so I have to go. But I want you to have time.